talk sports matters on SEM TV. Stay with us.
Sensational, absolutely sensational, sensational, and stadium is rocked. The All Blacks press forward with a driving run. White 5 for 3, it's good, a huge shot. The puck drops in this gold medal game.
So, Ivory Coast and Norway meet in high-stakes knockout clash, with the winner advancing to the round of 16 of the FIFA World Cup to face Brazil. Interestingly, France entered this knockout clash as one of the tournament favourites after a perfect group stage campaign. Didier Deschamps' side won all 3 matches, scoring 10 goals and showcased their attacking depth, led by Kylian Mbappe, Lotan, Ousmane Dembele and Michael Olise. This round of 32 clash is a straightforward match, so we look forward to what's at stake, all right, going into the game. With that, I say welcome to Sports 360, the World Cup edition, right here on SEM Television. I'm that minute of voice you trust and that mayor you probably need. They call me Rex Patrick the Locker, that homeboy that's never at home. I look around 247-365. I'm your host and guide. So now, we're here to look at the fixtures of games coming up tonight at the ongoing Mundial in USA, Mexico and Canada on the backdrop of interesting results from yesterday and of course the early hours of today, where we saw Paraguay, pull through to the last 16 of the tournament. And Morocco also made it to the round of 16 after that victory against the Netherlands. Interesting times, I tell you, for the most part. So now let's look at the games coming up tonight. At exactly 6 p.m, we'll get to see Ivory Coast against Norway trade tackles. The Ivory Coast and Norway meet in a high-stakes knockout clash, with the winner advancing to the round of 16 to face the Seleção of Brazil. Ivory Coast reached the knockout stage for the first time in their World Cup history after finishing second in Group E, with wins over Ecuador and Curaçao. Their confidence is high after an impressive group campaign. They are looking to build on that performance in the group stages going into this very round. Now, no way go into this one on the right foot. They return to the World Cup knockout rounds for the first time since 1998. They finished second in Group I, powered by a prolific attack led by Erling Braut Haaland. So it's a game to watch tonight. There are some key players to look out or, watch tonight. For Ivory Coast, Yan Diomande. Yeah, he's that player to watch. One of the players to watch. He's been one of the most outstanding players at the World Cup. Yeah? So, you talk about some of the best players at the Mundial, it comes to mind. While Ousmane, Diomande anchors the defense. So, that's it for Ivory Coast. Of course, for Yan Diomande, he's on the radar of several top European teams. Liverpool submitted a bid of over £80 million, rejected by RB Leipzig, and now Paris Saint-Germain are desperately interested in his services. Of course, his preference is a move to the French capital. That's Les Parisiens, Paris Saint-Germain, this very summer. But then we're going to see, as he's commonly focused on the ongoing FIFA World Cup in USA, Mexico and Canada. So they're playing Norway tonight. For Norway, there are some players to watch going into the game tonight. First on the list is Erling Braut Haaland. So, Haaland enters the match in excellent form after scoring 4 goals in his first 2 tournament appearances. Captain Martin Odegaard remains the team's creative force. He's a fulcrum of the Norwegian side. Now let's look at some team news for Ivory Coast. They are expected to be without defender Wilfred Singo because of a hamstring injury, while Evan Dika is available for the contest tonight. Now this is what to expect. Norway are likely to control possession and create chances through Martin Odegaard, and Erling Braut Haaland will provide, the finishing threat. The Ivorians will look to stay compact, defend aggressively, and of course attack quickly in transition. Using their pace on the wings. Many analysts view Norway as slight favourites, but Ivory Coast have shown they can trouble top oppositions so long as this tournament is concerned. A closely contested match is what to expect tonight, with Norway holding a slight edge thanks to Haaland's goal-scoring form. So, the Ivorians, for the most part, without taking any sides, would most likely lose by a narrow scoreline, 2-1 to Norway after 90 minutes. But then, hey, the impossible takes a little longer, so it will also go down. It could also go down the wire. This is one of the most intriguing round of 32 ties. Both teams have got momentum, but their styles are quite different. Now, here's a tactical battle going into the game. For Ivory Coast, they are expected to go with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Their strength is quick counter-attacks, physical midfield led by Frank Kessier and, of course, Ibrahim Sangare. Dangerous pace on the wings, especially through Yan Diomande. These are also their weaknesses. They can leave spaces behind their fullbacks. Set piece defending has looked vulnerable at times. For the Norwegian side, what's expected is a traditional 4-3-3 formation going into the game tonight against Ivory Coast. Their strength is Erling Braut Haaland's finishing and movement, Martin Odegaard's creativity between lines, Antonio Nusa's pace on the left wing. Here are their weaknesses as well. The defense of the Norwegian side has conceded several chances throughout the tournament. They can struggle when pressed aggressively, so they need to work on those areas going into the game tonight. These are the key of 5 key battles. Erling Braut Haaland versus Ousmane Diomande. Now, Haaland's physical power against one of Africa's best young defenders. Martin Odegaard versus, Ibrahim Sangare. If Sangare limits Odegaard's passing, Norway lose much of their creativity. Yan Diomande versus Molavov. The young Ivorian winger's speed could trouble Norway's left side. Midfield control is another key area. Frank Kessier and Sangare versus Norway's midfield trio will likely decide possession for the most part of this contest tonight. So set pieces are also very key. Norway are dangerous from corners and free kicks thanks to Haaland and their aerial strength. So the players to watch already. For Ivory Coast, Frank Kessier, Yan Diomande, Ousmane Diomande. So clearly for Norway, I told you earlier, Erling Braut Haaland is a player to watch. Martin Odegaard is another player to watch. Not forgetting Antonio Nusa. So interesting times. It's just about who wants it more. Just to look at the possession, Norway are expected to dominate the game with better ball possession, ranging from 55 to 60%. Ivory Coast around 40 to 45%. Shots on target, the Norwegians are expected to have more because they have a dangerous attack led by Erling Braut Haaland. So they are expected to have about 5 to 7 shots on target. For Ivory Coast, 3 to 5 shots on target. Corners, the Norwegian side are expected to have between 5 to 8, while Ivory Coast are expected to have between 3 to 5 corners in the game today. That's under 12.5. The white paper boys should understand what this means. All right, so let's look at some possible match scenarios. If Ivory Coast score first, they are likely to defend deep and look to counter-attack. Norway will increase pressure and commit more players forward. If Norway scores first, the game should be should be well open. The game should open up, creating more space for Haaland and Nusa to exploit. So, a win probability that is estimatedly for Ivory Coast going into the game, a possible win for the side is about 26%. A possible draw, so long as the game is concerned, after 90 minutes is 18%. A possible win for Norway is 56%. So the likely scoreline is Norway 2, Ivory Coast 1, Norway 1, Ivory Coast 0. That's a win for the most part for Norway by a yard. A draw after 90 minutes is also very much on the cards. So that's it. That's it for that very one. Erling Braut Haaland, a force to reckon with. If Norway advance, Haaland is the most likely difference maker. So he's been in outstanding goal scoring form and could become the first player since Hungary's Sandor Kocsis back in 1954 to score in each of his first 3 World Cup appearances. So, final prediction, Norway 2, Ivory Coast 1, with Haaland scoring and Norway booking a round of 16 meeting with the Seleção of Brazil. But hey, the impossible takes a little longer. It could also go either way. It's just about who wants it more. All right, now let's look at the next game. France against Sweden. An interesting fixture for what it's worth. The French side entered the knockout clash as one of the tournament favourites after a perfect group stage campaign. Didier Deschamps' side won all 3 matches, scored 10 goals, and showcased their attacking depth, led by Kylian Mbappe, Loton, and of course Ousmane Dembele and Michael Olise. Sweden reached the round of 32 as one of the best top-placed teams, despite inconsistent results in the group stage. They possess dangerous attacking threats in Alexander Isak, Victor Gyökeres, and Anthony Elanga, who, have been absolutely outstanding in the manner of speaking, making them capable of causing problems on the counter-attack. These are some key talking points. France attack versus Sweden's defense. The French side have been among the tournament's highest scoring team, while Sweden have shown defensive vulnerability against elite opposition. Knockout pressure is key. Sweden are expected to defend deep and rely on quick transitions, whereas France will aim to dominate possession and create chances through their dynamic front line. So, this is some team news. France are without Marcus Thuram, while William Saliba and N'Golo Kante could return. Sweden are missing defender Alexander Hien through injury. So that's it as regards team news. These are the players to watch. For France, Kylian Mbappe, Loton, Ousmane Dembele, and of course Michael Olise. For Sweden, Alexander Isak, Gyökeres, and Anthony Elanga. Interestingly, France are clear favourites thanks to their superior squad depth, experience, and of course outstanding form. Sweden have got enough attacking quality to make the contest competitive, but France are expected to have the edge. France come into the round of 32 tie as one of the strongest teams left in the tournament. They won all 3 group games, scoring freely. They scored in bucket loads while playing aggressive, attacking football. Coach Didier Deschamps has made it clear that France will stick to that approach rather than become more cautious in the knockout stage. So, expect a tactical battle for France. A traditional 4-3-3 formation. They are expected to dominate possession. The fullbacks would push high to support attacks. Quick passing through middle. Constant movement from, the front 3. Yeah, that's Dembele, Kylian Mbappe, Loton, and Michael Olise. For Sweden, they are expected to go with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Yeah, 4-2-3-1 formation. Stay compact defensively, look to win the ball and counter quickly, as quick as possible. Once they get the ball, sit back, absorb the pressure, and hit on counter attacks. They are also expected to use the pace of Anthony Elanga and the finishing ability of Alexander Isak and of course Victor Gyökeres. Key individual battles includes Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe, Loton versus Sweden's right backs. So, I don't know what it is for Mbappe, but he's expected to come good in this encounter tonight. So, Mbappe's pace is France's biggest weapon. Sweden must avoid giving him space behind the defense. Alexander Isak versus William Saliba is another individual battle. Isak is Sweden's main goal-scoring threat. Saliba's positioning and physical strength will be crucial in this encounter tonight. Adrien Rabiot versus Sweden's midfield. Rabiot's ability to control the tempo could dictate the match. Sweden will try to disrupt France's rhythm with disciplined pressing. This, for France, there's the strength. They have world-class attacking talent, excellent squad depth, experience in making in major tournament knockout matches. So when it comes to major knockout matches, they come to mind. They've been there time and time again. Their clinical finishing is key. Sweden's strength includes dangerous on counter. They are quite dangerous on counter attacks, strong aerial ability, hard-working midfield, capable of scoring from set pieces. Areas of concern for France includes, they can leave space behind the attacking fullbacks, and that's a problem. That's a worrying sign. They need to avoid defensive lapses against quick transitions. For Sweden, defensive line has looked vulnerable against elite attacking teams. They're missing defender Alexander Hien. It weakens their back line, and that's one area that needs to be looked at going into the game tonight. For France, I tell you, for what is what, a possible starting X1, Mike Maguion is expected in between the six for the side. Jules Koundé, William Saliba, Konate, that's Ibrahima Konate, Lucas Hernandez, Chouameni, Adrian Rabiot, and of course Dembele, Mbappe, Olise are some of the players expected to be in the starting X1 for the side going into the encounter tonight. But then the manager Deschamps could tweak his chances or his tactics and come up with a different setup going into the game tonight. What could decide the match really for France or even Sweden? I think only time will tell. But then for me, I think an early France goal would force Sweden to open up, creating more opportunities for France's attack. So if Sweden keep the score line level into the second period, then pressure could begin to shift onto France. So now I like us to move on to another game, talking about another game that's expected in the early hours of Wednesday. An interesting fixture, a round of 32 match as well at the ongoing Mundial in USA, Mexico, and of course Canada. Now let's tell you that interestingly, in as much as France are in for their game and all of that, there's just another game to look forward to. Yeah, there's just another game to look forward to tonight for the most part. And guess you what? It sure will be a salmon sandwich of a football match if there's anything like that. I'm talking about an encounter pitting host nation, that's Mexico. Yeah, so Mexico will be in action and a date with Ecuador. The time for that one is 2 a.m. Nigerian time, also UK time. This round of 32 clash is a straight knockout match. So the winner advances to the round of 16, while the losing team is eliminated. So that's exactly what's at stake. And both teams are very much aware of all of these. Now, Mexico will look to capitalize on home support and their experience in major tournaments. They are expected to press aggressively and dominate possession and create chances through quick wing play. Defensive organization and composure in midfield will be key to avoiding Ecuador's counterattacks. So Ecuador are known for their athleticism. So pace, disciplined defending is another key area of the Ecuadorian side. They are likely to stay compact and look to exploit spaces behind Mexico's defense with fast transitions. Winning midfield battles and converting chances efficiently could also be decisive. So now the key battles include Mexico's attacking creativity versus Ecuador's physical organized defense. And of course, whichever team controls the midfield and limits mistakes is likely to gain the upper hand going into the game tonight. So it's just about, being disciplined and going into this one on the right foot. Prediction is a fair one, a narrow 2-1 win for Mexico. That's without taking sides. This is expected to be a keenly contested affair, a full-blooded encounter for a number of reasons, many of them legitimate. It sure would be a tightly contested match with few chances created. A narrow 2-1 win for Mexico after a competitive 90 minutes is a plausible outcome, though Ecuador have the quality to cause an upset despite playing against host nation. Mexico entered the knockout stage with confidence after an impressive group campaign. They topped their group, winning all 3 matches without conceding a goal, making them one of the tournament's most informed teams. Ecuador had a tougher route, qualifying after a dramatic comeback victory over Germany. They go into this one with a slim realistic chance against host nation Mexico, co-host, yeah? So their resilience and defensive discipline have been standout qualities, quite commendable. So they're expected to bring that into this encounter tonight. So there are some players to watch for Mexico. I don't know what it is for the side, but then they just have to go into this one on the right foot. Santiago Jimenez has been absolutely top, a clinical finisher capable of deciding big matches. Edson Alvarez is another player to watch. The midfielder leads with so much vigor. So he's a leader in midfield who shields the defense and dictates the tempo of a game. Gilberto Mora, a creative attacking threat expected to trouble Ecuador's backline. For Ecuador, they got Moises Caicedo, the heartbeat of Ecuador's midfield, combining ball winning with progressive passing. Piero Hincapi, a composed defender. Yeah, he plays for the Gunners, talking about Arsenal. So he's a really good defender who will likely be tasked with containing Mexico's attack. Nelson Angulo is another player to watch tonight. He brings pace and directness on the counter-attack. So that's it for the side. So what do I know? It's just about who wants it more. Interesting times. Historically, Mexico have enjoyed the better record against Ecuador, winning 14 of their 25 meetings, with Ecuador winning 4 and 7, ending in draws. Mexico also defeated Ecuador by 2-1 in their only previous World Cup meeting, that was at the 2002 tournament, Korea-Japan. Feels like yesterday, yeah? Interesting times. Okay, well, Brazil came up tops at that very tournament. So, and that's the last time the Seleção of Brazil last lifted the FIFA World Cup. They've won it the most, 5 times. Okay, now, we can't go any further. Interestingly, we can't go any further. This is where we get to put a pin today on today's show. All right, so this is where we get to put a pin on today's show. But then, I'll leave you with something quite remarkable. Yeah? I'll leave you with some iconic FIFA World Cup moments from the past. I remain Danny Mino, the voice you trust and that mayor you probably need. They call me Rex Patrick the Locker, that homeboy that's never at home. I lock around 247-365. Stay woke, get talented, and be inspired. It's a wrap.
And now, time to talk sports matters on SEM TV. Stay with us.
Sensational, absolutely sensational. Sensational. And Stadium is blocked. The All Blacks press forward with a driving run. White 5 for 3, it's good. A huge shot. The puck drops in this gold medal game.